Hi, I'm Joseph Laguna with American Income Life Child Safe Division. I'm here to drop off the Child Safe Kit program for John and Mary. By chance, are you John? Is it okay to come in? And is Mary here? We'll need her to join us. Can we use your kitchen table to make things go a lot quicker for us? How are you doing today? So, as I shared with you earlier, my name is Joseph Laguna. I'm with the Office and Professional Employees International Union Local 277. This is my union card. This is my license. We are American Income Life. We handle the benefits for the unions like the firefighters, police officers, and school teachers have been doing so for over 60 years. We are working with the International Union of Police Associations to get these child safety kits out to families. There are three ways you can get the kits. The first way is for the principal of the school to endorse the program, and he mails a letter out to the parents. It looks like this, and show them the kit. You filled out the card and we call and come out. The second way is if you filled out a card at a festival, daycare center, online, Facebook, we call and come out. And the third way is if you were sponsored or referred by either a friend or a family member, we call and come out. Now, since you care enough about your kids to sign up for the kits, American Income Life has opened some additional benefits to you as if you were a union member, like a firefighter, police officer, or school teacher. A lot of times they find not only are the children not protected, but the parents aren't either. The Child Safe program is endorsed by the International Union of Police Associations. I have all the forms, so by the American Federation of School Administrators and the American Federation of Teachers. In fact, here's a sample letter to one of the hundreds of schools in the country that send this letter directly to the parents so they can be educated on the importance of this program. The Child Safe program is designed to have families ready in the event of a tragedy striking a household of any kind, such as a child going missing or if a parent would not come home. The purpose is to prepare and ensure the protection and the security of the children. There are 5 items that make up the Child Safe program, and all of them are at no cost. I will give you a Child Safe kit. If your child goes missing, authorities will have the information they need to find your child. We will also show you the Child Safe ID app that works in conjunction with an Amber Alert, and I'll have it ready. I will give you a family information guide. This is a document very similar to a will. Unfortunately, most parents don't know that if you don't have a will in the state of Florida and both of you were to unfortunately pass away, if it's not documented where your children go, DCF can take them for a minimum of 2 to 3 days until they figure out who is the best person to watch your children. I will give you a health services discount card. This is not a health insurance plan, but it should give you between 20 to 60% off the top of your health insurance. I'll give you a Medifax kit, which is a trifold that has all your medications and health conditions listed for first responders and paramedics in the event of an emergency. I will also give you $4,000 of life insurance. They know it's not very much, but in the event of something happening, they want to make sure that whoever will take care of the children could at least take care of some of the immediate arrangements. Okay, I just wanted to give you a quick outline of what I was going to cover with you as opposed to just giving you a bunch of paperwork without knowing where it came from. Now, there are 2 programs, the no-cost program and a program you must qualify for. If you qualify, you may enroll. These are family protection programs, which are insurance programs that are approved and endorsed by the police union and the school board. Or of those, I will give you some information. You let me know if you have any questions. Now, it is very important that if you have any questions, please ask me today. If there's anything that you want me to explain again, ask me and explain it again today. If there is anything that you want to do it today, because once I'm done with my day, I have to report the families that I visited into the system, and they will not send another agent like me to this address for 1 year. Also, you may or may not receive a random verification call. They do those to make sure we're doing our jobs properly. My job is simply to go over everything with you. The laptop will explain some, I'll explain the rest. If you folks have any questions at any time, I'll stop whatever I'm doing and answer all your questions. Do you mind if I plug my laptop in? Thank you. Also, I feel like I've been talking all day. Do you mind if I get a glass of water? Thank you. Then click Start Presentation. For the sake of time, I'm just going to fill in John Doe for the name, male, random ass date of birth, make him 1980, state Florida, family status married with dependents, and then group name Union 277. Next. All right. Fast forward through the first video. And then just so you could hear that it's the proper video, I'm not gonna sit here and go through the entire video. But I hit continue. And then we're at the recruiting referral, so I would ask them if they had anyone that they knew was interested in possibly working for us or not happy, and then just list them off. But for now, to save time, X out of that. Ask them to donate a non-perishable food item. Continue. All right. All right, so first is a child safe kid app. Please grab your cell phone. That way we can download the app to your phone. And I know it's available for both iPhone and Android. It would look like that. Show them how to access the sex offenders in the area. So after the child safe kit downloads, get the offender locator light app, download that. And then as I'm explaining to them, just casually go over. They have a map view so you can see just how many are in the area, and then going to list to actually show them the individual people. Ask them, have you ever seen, and then so Eston car, for example, in your neighborhood before, and then hand them the child safe kit. Do you have any questions? Here you go. So now I don't mean to alarm you, but there are over 500,000 children reported missing every year. That's over 1,300 children a day that do not come home to their parents like your children come home to you. And unfortunately, Florida is rated third worst for child abductions and human trafficking behind California and Texas. When they found this out, they decided to do something about it. The goal is to have 75% of parents in the state of Florida to have this program by the end of 2020. It's a monumental goal, and it requires everyone's help in the community. So they ask us to ask you for your help. Now, it's not money if that's what you were thinking. It's a lot simpler than that. They just ask that you go from A to Z on your phone and find all the people that you know that have children under 18. They ask for the parent's name, phone number, how many kits they need, and for you to contact them to let them know what you have done for them. It's called Save a Child's Life program. Who's the first parent you would like to sponsor? And then who's next? And then filling out the referral page. And again, I don't want to waste either of our time, so I'm not going to go through the entire referral page. All right. So life insurance. So the next benefit is the $2,000 worth of accidental death life insurance. Now this is for accidents on or off the job. Once you fill it out in its entirety, you want to send both in the same envelope to the address that I circled here on the bottom, and in about 2 to 3 weeks you'll get a policy in the mail. Now there's no cost for the first year. If you want to renew it next year, it'll only be $1 per $1,000 in coverage per year. So $2 a year to keep this exact same coverage after the initial year. You aren't going to beat union rates. Typically, we're about 20 to 40% less than the civilian market. In fact, if you want to raise this coverage at any time, the most they'll allow you to have is $25,000, and that would still only be $25 a year. Do you have any questions? Here you go. And then hand them the AD&D coverage form, family information guide. The next benefit is a family information guide. Do the two of you have a will? Yes, then this will work well alongside it. And if they do not have a will, this is as close to a will as you're going to get without it costing you any money. First one is vital statistics. Put your veteran information here. If you were not a veteran, then just leave it blank. Spouse arrangements, spouse information goes there. Persons to be notified in case you were to unfortunately be unconscious. Persons to be in charge of final arrangement, last will and testament. Life insurance. John, do you have any life insurance through your work or outside of work? Okay, Mary, do you have any life insurance from your work or outside of work? Okay, whatever you have, make sure you put it in this area right here, because about 20 to 30 million dollars worth of life insurance is unclaimed every year because the beneficiary has no idea it was there. And if it doesn't get claimed, guess who gets it? That's right, the government. Financial, so whoever you bank with, you would fill out under financial institution, safe deposit box if you have one. Um, but once, if you have one, if not, leave it blank and funeral service request. Now, John and Mary, this is going to be difficult to talk about, but once you put it on paper, you'll never have to talk about it ever again. Mary, do you want to be cremated or buried? John, whichever one you decide and mark it here. And I'll tell you a funny story. Last week, I had this guy tell me he didn't want to be buried because he was claustrophobic. Like, I don't understand. Like, because I tried to reason with him, and the idea that he thought his claustrophobia would still affect him after death blew my mind, but we made things work for him. Now, this is the most important. If I die, I want for the special instructions, you'll go over if you die, you want so and so to watch my children. Whatever your wishes are, your family members need to know what it is. Fill out this document in its entirety here at the house, then sign it and date it in front of a notary, and it becomes a legal binding document. Now, make sure that you do not sign this until you are in front of a notary. Now, which bank do you use? Chase? Oh, that's great. They can notarize it for you. Just make sure not, again, to not sign it until you are in front of them. And then fold it in half, give it away. And please do not keep it in a safe deposit box. Now, what you don't want to do is put this in a safe deposit box because most people don't know you have one. And even if they did, unless they were you, they wouldn't be able to access it. So you want to put it in a safe spot and tell your family where it is. Do you have any questions? Okay, here you go. The next benefit is a health services discount card. Now, this is not a health insurance plan, not health insurance. The basic program comes to you at zero cost. Big zero on there, and it should give you up to 20 to 60% off for eye care, hearing, prescription drugs, and chiropractic services. Now, if you want to take advantage of the no-cost benefits, then you fill this out, put a stamp on it, and in 10 to 14 days, you'll see a card that looks like this in the mail, and then I'll point it out in the packet. Do you have any questions? All right, here you go. The next benefit is the MedFax kit. Do you or anybody in the family have any health conditions or take any medications? These are stickers inside. There are stickers inside that you would put on the front and back doors of your house so first responders can locate it and save your life in the event of a tragedy striking the household. And then place the magnet provided on the outside of the bag, put it on the refrigerator. Do you have any questions? Here you go. And then the mandatory read-off letter right here. So what this letter is saying in a nutshell is that there's an advantage and a disadvantage. The advantage is that you have access to programs that you didn't have access to before. So if you want to do it, it's okay. If you don't want to do it, it's okay. The disadvantage is that you will not see us again for a period of 1 year. You know how 401k works? Is a once a year enrollment. These benefits are also a once a year enrollment. Does that make sense? Okay. Does that make sense? Fair enough? To avoid, I want to think about it. This must be said. All right. Does that make sense? Is that fair enough? All right. All right. Each family that sends back a card is seen separately because each family has a different need and a different want. What's right for you may not be right for the family I just saw or the family I will see after you. Since everybody has a different need and a different want, they want me to catch everybody up to speed about the different types of life insurance that is out there. A lot of people have life insurance, however, they have found that they don't know what they have or how it works. So the types of life insurance are accidental, term, and whole life. Accidental is pretty self-explanatory. Slip, boom, you're an angel. Somebody gets money. Cross that one out. Now, term goes for a duration of time and then it terminates. You can get term through your work or outside of work. Once you leave your work, all your benefits go bye-bye. But you knew that the term offered outside of your work are usually 20 years long. So you're how old, John? Okay, typical terms are 20 years, so you're 42 now. In 20 years, you'll be 62. Say, for example, you're paying $50 premium every month. So 50 times 12 months a year times 20 years, that's $12,000 that you put into that policy. If you're still alive after the 20 years, that's great. But do you think you're ever going to see the 12,000 again? No. Now that you're 20 years older, you're no longer a spring chicken. So that $50 premium you had been paying, do you think that it's going to stay the same or go way up because of inflation? Yeah, it's going to go up. Absolutely. Good job. Now, there are pros and cons to both term and whole life. One of the cons to term is that it only pays out 2 to 3% of the time. Now, why is that? There are two reasons. One is that you have a term and then it goes because of your age, health, and inflation. You have a term and then it doubled in the script. That the second reason is that you may develop something medically in those years, such as cancer, get in a bad accident, or get a disease like diabetes that makes you uninsurable and they won't let you buy it again. Are there any questions on term life? Okay, whole life is the total opposite of term. Term terminates, whole life is for your whole entire life. Now, let's use the same $50 premium, it'll stay the same forever. It doesn't matter if you get cancer, get into a bad accident, get diabetes, that premium never goes up and your coverage never goes down. Where in term, you never see your money again. With whole life, your money is getting a 5% interest, and where in term it only pays out 2 to 3% of the time, with whole life it pays out 100% of the time as long as the policy doesn't lapse. Now, do you understand the differences between accidental whole term and term life? Now that you have more knowledge about the different types of insurance, I'll go ahead and just ask a few questions to see what exactly you qualify for, and we'll go on from there. And then do not play video, fast forward, yada yada. Filling out the survey. John, what month were you born? What day? What year? And Mary, what month were you born? What day? What year? This next part is critical. In order to receive the additional benefits, there are 3 criteria that must be met in order to qualify for the program. First, you need to be a member of the union, which you are, so there isn't anything to worry about. Second criteria is you need to enroll into the program during the enrollment period, which is right now while I'm sitting here. And the third criteria, which is the most critical to qualify for the program, is that you need to be in good health. So, in fact, a lot of families we meet with need and want the program, but actually don't qualify due to their health. So I'm going to ask you some questions about your health to see if you were able to qualify, and then ask the family member medical conditions questions. John, Mary, and the children, have any of y'all had cancer in the past 2 years? Insulin, diabetes, heart attack, stroke, currently using oxygen through a tube, terminally ill, Alzheimer's, or have you used any form of tobacco in the last 12 months, including an occasional cigar? Currently on probation or parole, arrested or convicted of DUI or anything else? And do not ask one question at a time, so just list them all through. Mary, are you taking any medication prescribed by a doctor? Why? How long? Is it under control? And are there any other medications? Then I would ask John the same question. John, what's your monthly take-home income after taxes and insurance reductions? And yours, Mary? Thank you. Do you have any life insurance through your job? If yes, how much do you have? And then let me explain how that works. While you are working with your company, you will be covered. However, as soon as you quit, get fired, or retire, that benefit is unfortunately gone forever and you will no longer be covered, but you already knew that. The reason is it's a group policy. While you are working, you are part of the group. When you leave, you are not protected as you are no longer part of that group. Do you now understand how your job insurance works? All right, whole life. So do you have any permanent insurance in place that is designed to take care of your final expenses and unpaid medical bills? So John, God forbid, if you had died last night, who would be taking care of your funeral arrangements today? Did they know that? And also, do they have an extra $15,000 in their checking savings account to write a check for that amount and not change the way they live financially? That's why it's so important to have a plan in place to cover that, so your untimely death doesn't have to be a financial loss for the people you care most about. Now, we have a great plan that covers this need. I'll show you how it works in a minute. So, question for filling out coverage. Do you have any insurance plan in place that will pay a large sum of money to your wife to replace your lost income so that she can continue to pay all the household bills? Now, Mary, how about you? Mary, if John had died last night and his income was gone forever, would you be able to continue to pay the mortgage on your car? Or would you be able to continue to pay the mortgage, bills for the car, utilities, being able to consistently put food on the table without it? And John, same question to you. If Mary had died last night by some ungodly, God forbid, unfortunate accident, would you be able to afford all the bills? Okay, most families would be in the exact same situation. Mary, would you sleep better at night knowing that you had something in place to protect John's income? Then we have a great plan that covers that need. I'll show you how it works in a moment. Um, so that was the first with married with children. Now for single with dependents. Mary, if you had died last night, who would be responsible for raising your children? Did they know that? Also, are they financially prepared to take on the expense, knowing that it costs an average of about $10,000 a year per child to raise a child to the age of 18? Mary, wouldn't you sleep better at night knowing that you had something in place so your children could be raised to your expectations? We have a great plan that covers this need. I'll show you how that works in a moment. And then, do you guys rent or own? If you own, how much do you owe on your mortgage and how many years do you have left to pay on your mortgage? Do you guys have a plan that would pay off the mortgage if either one of you were to pass away unexpectedly from an accident? Okay. Would it be fair to think that you'd like your kids to go to college? Do you know what the cost of a college education is today? And have you set aside any college funds for your children, either one of them? If either one of you were to pass away unexpectedly from an accident, click on submit, continue, pass the letter. Deductible replacement. So the first part is your deductible replacement. These are designed to cover any accident or injury on or off the job. Let's say that you're walking out of your car in the morning, you trip and twist your ankle. You go to the emergency room because you think it's broken, but it's not. Thankfully, it's just a really bad sprain. And doc tells you to stay off your feet for a couple of days. A couple of days off your feet means a couple of days off the job. On top of lost income for that day, you also have co-pays and other out-of-pocket expenses. They're going to help cover some of your out-of-pocket expenses and pay you $200 each and every time you go to the ER, walk-in clinic, or your own doctor for an accident. This doesn't go through your doctor, the hospital, or your health insurance. And then fill in 200 on that A71,000 sheet. This is tax-free money paid directly to you. Now, let's say you're driving to work and you're in a hurry, but someone's in a bigger hurry than you, cuts you off, you end up in the hospital for 10 days. John, just because you've stopped working, does that mean your bills have stopped? No. Each night you spend in the hospital, they're going to pay you $400 per night. So 400, 10 days times 400, that's $4,000. You're going to be worried about your bills if you have $4,000 coming to you? Exactly. You're also covered year round. 365 days times $400 a day equals $146,000 for each one of you. Now, staying in the hospital for an entire year is difficult, but if it happened, wouldn't $146,000 come in handy? Yeah. Now, let's say that accident was more serious. You had head trauma or internal bleeding. You end up in the ICU. They double the benefit to $800 each and every day for up to 14 days in the ICU. All right. Examine the need for final expense protection. So, John, your final expense protection is a whole life policy and it earns 5% cash value. You've been pre-qualified for blank, 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 and Mary, blank, 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 and a $10,000 rider on all blank kids. Do you see why it's important to have final expense coverage to protect your family? Any questions about your whole life? All right. Examine the need for monthly income protection. Mary, do you remember you said if John died last night, you would not be able to pay for all the household bills without his income? All right, so John, you've been pre-qualified for blank years of income protection, which is blank amount of money. And Mary, you have been pre-qualified for blank years, which is, again, blank amount of money. And then I would fill in the account numbers as I'm saying to them. All right. Now, this is a 10-year term that gets reviewed and renewed every 10 years. Does it make sense to have at least blank years of your income protected if either of you were to unfortunately pass away? All right, so the most expensive bill is mortgage, right? John, you would have blank dollars of mortgage protection. Mary, you would have blank dollars of mortgage protection. And then I would say the accounts in as I'm filling them out, and then As I say it to them, verify if it's accidental death benefit or term. So, does it make sense to have your mortgage protected if you were to pass away? All right. The need for our kids to get a college education seems to be almost indispensable. John, you would have, and then check the application, blank, 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 amount of education protection. Mary, you would have blank dollars of education protection. Does it make sense to have this need covered for the children's education? All right. So now 97% of the people that pass away prior to 65 is because of an accident. What do you see on TV all the time? Drive-by shootings, fires, car accidents. So if the good Lord was going to take you tomorrow, do you think it would be more old age heart attack or accidental? Exactly. Now, John, if you were going to die in a standard accident, what's a standard accident? Slip, boom, you're an angel. John, you would leave Mary $40,000. Mary, you would leave John $40,000. Now the kids would have $8,000. They get about a fifth, 20%. Now, John, if you were to die of an auto accident, you would leave Mary 80,000. Mary, you would leave John 80,000, and the kids would have $16,000. Now, John, if you were to die on a common carrier such as a taxi, bus, airplane, cruise ship, train, something that you paid to ride on or in, and you were to unfortunately die due to an accident, you would leave Mary $200,000. Mary, you would leave John $200,000, and the kids would have $40,000. Now, any questions? Last is your accidental dismemberment. If you lost a hand, a foot, or an eye, you're not going to go back to work right away, are you? John, you would need some rehabilitation, right? All right, John, in a standard accident, you would get $20,000. Mary, you would get $20,000, and the kids would get $8,000. In a common carrier, John, you would get $100,000. Mary, you would get $100,000, and the kids would get $20,000. And that will pay out twice in a lifetime. And then I draw times 2 by the 20,000. All right. With all that being said, do you have any questions? And does everything make sense? They have 2 options for members. Option 1, which your family will be protected 100% for the rest of your lives with inflation, and option 2, which is the non-inflation option, adjust to non-inflation, adjust to income protection if applicable. Does that make sense? The last question they have me ask you, if it all makes sense like you said it does, and you also see the need for these benefits, which I think you have during this entire time, which option is the most comfortable for you and your family today? And then to overcome objections, always used to feel, felt, found factor. So if they say, I want to think about it, I understand how you feel. A lot of members felt that way. However, when they found out that there are only 3 times people actually think about life insurance. When a licensed agent like myself is talking to you about it, when you or someone in your family has a close call, like almost dying in an accident or emergency surgery, and lastly, when you're at a funeral. There are 2 guarantees if you don't protect your family today. One, it's going to be 20% more expensive next year, just naturally due to inflation. You might not be able to qualify due to any health issues, and I'm sure that you'd agree that some coverage is better than none, right? And then I'd be adjusting the plan as I'm closing. I can't afford it. I understand how you feel. A lot of members feel the same way. However, when they found out, when you break it down to about $3 to $4 a day, it makes it seem a lot more manageable, right? So like I mentioned before, even yourself, you said that $3 to $4 wouldn't take food off the table, right? So most members enroll in option 2. I know you see a need for the coverage, and if that option isn't comfortable, they have a more entry level program. I assume that you'd agree that some coverage is better than none, right? So let me make a couple adjustments to see what we can do and proceed to the closing question. Um, I don't need it. Go back to IRTs, confirm the need, and ask the closing question. So gold card referrals. While I'm finishing up your application, this is where I ask for members to help. Obviously, you made a great decision on protecting your family today. We've always been a company that has been private, not allowing the public to have access to our benefits, and we know that allowing an exclusive enrollment program for our members to sponsor any family members and friends to have full access to our benefits, just like you enrolled into today. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I don't get paid hourly, nor do I get paid a salary. I get paid specifically on my performance to help families just like I did here for you and your family today. All I ask is you give me at least 5 people you know that could benefit from the family protection programs that you just enrolled in. I love helping families save money on life insurance, just like I helped you today. I promise to you right now, I'll do my best to help them find the best prices in America and make sure they get educated just like you did today. So go ahead, do me a favor, get your cell phone and pick the 5 closest friends and family members that you know. Once the gold cards are completed, fill in all the blanks that the client didn't fill out completely on the gold card, city they live in, any information that can help you book the appointment, build rapport. Most important, the most important part is to book the gold card referrals while you're in the appointment while still in the house. So, out of those 5 people, who would you like me to contact first? Let's go ahead and give them a call. That way, we can give them a full understanding of how the program works and what you've done for them. The last thing I hate is when someone thinking this is a scam, once they have them on the phone, get the client to hand it over to me and what they've done for them. I'll explain how the child safety kits work, health service card, living will, and the $2,000 of AD&D coverage. All right. And I'm going to use John Doe as the person's name for booking the appointment. Hello, John. This is Joseph Laguna. I'm sitting here with Mary. I'm their life insurance agent. I help them save money on their life insurance. They sponsored you to look at the same discounted benefits for your family. We work with police unions, firefighters, and teachers. I love helping people save money on life insurance. They thought you could use the same benefits as well for your family. Also, you're being sponsored to receive a no-cost child safe kit. I'll explain in detail what that is. Health service discount card, which helps you save up to 60% on your health needs, and a living will. It's pretty cool that they did this for you, right? They also said that you live in Melbourne and you have 5 kids, right? Great. I'm almost finishing helping them. Do you work days or evenings? Great. And your spouse or significant other, did they work days or evenings as well? Awesome. Are both of you home right now? I'm actually just down the street. It would only take me about 15 minutes to go over and drop off some information to you and see if I could help your family save some money. If the client can't see you right then book it for the following field day. Always try to go straight there though. If not, say I'll be in the area tomorrow. I have a 5 p.m. or 7 p.m. which works best for you and your spouse. Great. Could you grab a pen and paper so you can write down my information with a confirmation number? Great. I'll be looking forward to meeting with you soon. And that's all she wrote.